MD in homeopathy, is an experienced homeopath with over 17 years of experience. She was assistant professor in Department of Anatomy at TAFE's Homeopathic Medical College and Hospitals in 2010. She participated in the workshops on the biostatistics and research methodology held on December 2017 at SKHMC Bede in India. She received Best Performance Award in 2016 at JIMS Homeopathic Medical College and Hospitals. She has experience of working custodian for undergraduate examinations for 3 years at JIMS Homeopathic Medical College and Hospitals. She attended several CME programs. Comprehensive review, grandeur of anatomy in homeopathy, etc. at various famous journals. Presently, she is working as associate professor in Department of Anatomy at JIMS Homeopathic Medical College and Hospitals. Let us welcome our honorable speaker, Dr. Uma Rani, to our webinar.
Well,
Dr. Uma, please.
Very good morning and very good evening to all. As usual, it's a wonderful session by my teacher, Dr. Praveen sir. And I feel proud to say I am the student of Dr. Praveen sir. And when I'm a student, we eagerly wait for his class. And I'm very glad that my session is being followed by my teacher's session. And coming to ma'am, Dr. Kavita ma'am, thank you so much for your introduction. And I feel it's a great opportunity for me, be CAR study group volunteer, as well as to participate as a speaker in the CAR webinar. I appreciate Dr. Kavita ma'am promoting homeopathy and providing education opportunities to students and practitioners by organizing wonderful webinars. And ma'am, you are enlightening homeopathy across the globe. And thank you so much, Professor ma'am, Regina ma'am. Thank you so much, Shweta Singh ma'am, the whole team of for giving me a platform to share my views and knowledge. So without delay, I will start the webinar.
Thank you so much, Dr. Yes.
Is it visible, ma'am?
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Okay. So, today my topic is homeopathy in menstrual abnormalities. As we all know, all women have to go through many milestones in their life. So this journey is not that easy. So the reproductive phase of women is one of the healthiest period of all planes. So their body hormones protecting them during this period physically, mentally, and even emotionally. But during this phase, they may suffer from one or the other problems for which high doses of hormones may be prescribed by conventional medicine, but many women worry about the possible side effects due to these hormones. So the specific objective of this webinar is to emphasize homeopathic treatment, which enables women to find a balanced menstrual cycle without having undue pressure on any other organ. So initiation of menstruation is an important milestone in the reproductive lives of women. So here that menstruation is defined as it's a following invisible interplay of hormones, mainly through hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis. Any break in this axis creates the menstrual problems. So I'll give that normal physiological aspects of the menstruation briefly. Menarche occurs between the 10 to 16 years of age. Around the mean age is 13 years and average rhythm of 28 plus or minus 7 days with an average blood loss of 20 to 80 ml. So usually menstrual blood contain aggregation of endometrial tissue, RBC, degenerated platelets and fibrin, but it does not clot. So 50 to 75% of blood, it is blood. The rest is made up of fragments of endometrial tissue and mucus. For normal menstruation, it requires integration of the hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis with a functional uterus, a patent lower genital outflow tract, and a normal genetic karyotype of 46XX. Whereas abnormal menstruation can be a harbinger of a sinister pelvic pathology or denote a relatively minor problem. Therefore, a thorough investigation into the problem is called for in every patient presenting with this complaint. So whenever the system or constitution is under stress, the characteristics of a person comes out as a peculiar expression. Puberty, menstruation, marriage, pregnancy, parturition, lactation, menopause are the events. So, with all the diseases of women, one must not forget to inquire into the menstrual symptoms, especially the characteristics of menses before, during, and after menstruation. So, general effect of menstruation on the whole person. So, this is a journey from known to unknown, common to uncommon, disease to person, vague symptoms to totality. So, to manage the menstrual irregularities, a thorough case taking is required. Homeopathy history includes stress on mind, that is emotional level, on environmental stress factors like family and work. After thorough case taking, case processing, totality, selection of medicines, both acute and constitutional. Sometimes, at the level of chief complaints, we may get some peculiar modalities, so which may lead to that understanding of the person as well as the remedy. Like example, sun aggravation, music aggravation, milk aggravation. So, along with characteristics, associated complaints or concomitants will be there. So, example, uterine symptoms with telltale phase like sepia. Uterine symptoms with constipation, head symptoms. Uterine symptoms with flatulence, like lycopodium and physometra with uterine problems. So I would like to start with a case. Off and on, which is throbbing in nature since 4 months, aggravated by motion, pressure, and mental tension, ameliorated by rest and lying on back for some time. The pain was accompanied with much flatulence. Other complaints are dysmenorrhea since 1 year, pain especially before menses in thighs, back, and lower abdomen, and there is moderate hair loss since 2 to 3 years. Patient as a person, appetite decreased, craving for salt food, 6 to 8 glasses per day, thirst will be there, and coated and moist tongue, and bowels are 1 to 2 times per day, but unsatisfactory, disturbed sleep, and dreams of events of day, thermally hot, past history having recurrent tonsillitis in childhood, Family history, father having hypertension. The menstrual history, menarche at the age of 14 years, irregular in first 3 to 4 years after menarche. So now regular cycles, but since 2 to 3 years, profuse flow, clotted, offensive and painful. General physical examination, systemic examination normal. But tenderness was present all over lower abdomen, especially right iliac fossa. But no organomegaly was present. So on investigations, ultrasonography of pelvis as having that hemorrhagic right ovarian cyst. If you go into her life space, she born and brought Hyderabad. Father was a driver, mother housewife. Patient was eldest of 4 siblings, all sisters. And she completed graduation despite of all financial difficulties. And she was an average student and took the private job of a teacher after completing graduation for few months. And married 3 years back. Husband works as a receptionist in a private clinic. Since marriage, living in a joint family with 26 members. Presently, wants to pursue her job, to which in-laws disagrees. She remained upset because of mother-in-law, as she was short-tempered, dominating, insulting, and even abusive at times. To go in mind, she is irritable, desires solitude, consolation aggravates, she is fastidious in nature, her anger is suppressed, weeps when alone. So I have taken that rubrics for repetization, ailments from silent grief, ailments from anger suppressed, irritability, aversion to company, consolation aggravation, weeping alone, and salted desires. After repetization, so 8 symptoms was selected for repertorial analysis, and the medicine with maximum coverage were Natramur, Staphysagria, Ignatia, Lycopodium, Sepia. Natramur was selected compared to all other medicines. So on that first prescription, Natramur 200 single dose given and placebo for 2 weeks, and Belladonna 30 is given SOS as that episode of pain. Along with general supportive care has advised hot fermentation and rest in an episode of pain. Although there were no dietary restrictions, patient was advised not to take excessive spicy or fatty food, and advised meditation, light breathing exercises for relaxation and control of stress. And that ultrasonography cyst was benign as that, so screening of cancer was not undertaken. So after giving first dose, the first follow-up, after 15 days, pain in lower abdomen was much better. There were no new complaints. So placebo 2 weeks, for 2 weeks given, and that after 15 days, her last menstrual period appeared on the 15th and flow much better with no clots, dysmenorrhea much better. Then again placebo repeated for 2 weeks. The next follow-up, asymptomatic, and placebo repeated for 2 weeks. And on 26th, patient returned with ultrasonography report, which she underwent herself without consulting or being advised by me. So the report was, that is, there is no significant abnormality is seen. So this is the case. Modern medicine. So should a homeopath wait for a physiological cyst to become pathological? No. A homeopath must not wait for physiological cysts to become pathological, as a well-selected constitutional medicine can completely cure such cases even with single dose, thus making surgery and painkillers useless. So homeopathy can even prevent their recurrence also. So now I would like to explain about the few characteristics of the all menstrual disorders with homeopathic therapeutics. Before that, puberty in girls is the period which links childhood to adulthood. It is a period of gradual development of secondary sexual characters. So, important controlling factors for the onset of puberty are genetic, nutrition, body weight, psychological state, social and cultural background, exposure to light, and others. So, if we need any change in these factors, there is abnormality in the puberty occur. So, first abnormality of this puberty is early menarche. So, the precocious puberty is reserved for girls who exhibit any secondary sexual characters before the age of 8 or menstruation before that age of 10. And then we call it as early menarche. So, a critical body mass has to be achieved prior to menarche. Usually, obesity predisposes to an earlier age of menarche. So, on synthesis repertory, the rubrics. Antimicrote, where the mental symptoms and with the gastric spare, excessive irritability and fretfulness with thick coated white tongue are the true guiding symptoms to select this antimicrote. One more first grade remedy, that is calcarea carb, useful for that fleshy, plethoric and grow too rapid girls. Menses are too early, too profuse, too long lasting. Calcarea fast, anemic girls who are peevish, flabby, having the cold extremities. Along with that, causticum, where the ailments from long lasting grief, sudden emotions, then we can think of causticum. Chamomilla. Chamomilla is a very sensitive, irritable, thirsty, hot and numb, whereas a calm, gentle, sluggish, constipated bowels contraindicates the chamomilla. Another remedy is that pulsatilla. So it is that a female remedy. So it is the remedy we usually useful for that all puberty changes. It is the mental state, disposition of the mental state are the chief guiding symptoms to selection of pulsatilla. So other abnormality of the puberty is late menarche. It is delayed onset of menses. When menarche appears as late as 16 years, we call late menarche. So sometimes in some feeble constitutions, the onset of menses may be delayed due to unknown reasons. Family traits too may play a role in which the menses is of weak, feeble constitution. Our homeopathic medicines can help her acquire a normal period soon. But it is advised that it is better to wait till the 16th year, at least before starting the treatment. The rubrics for the synthesis repertory, delayed first menses. The first grade remedies are again causticum, can be used for that early menarche and late menarche. So ailments from long lasting grief and sudden emotions. The graphitis, where patients are stout, fair complexion with tendency to skin affections and constipation, fat, chilly, and natramor. Ill effects of grief, fright, and anger. And pulsatilla again comes here. Delayed first menses easily suppressed and aggravated, getting feet wet, This remedy can be helpful during many conditions involving hormonal changes in the girls. So, yielding emotional, sympathetic, weeps easily, consolation, amelioration are the characteristics of Pulsatilla. In Calicarb, other remedy, where the first menses are delayed and difficult, delayed menses in young girls with chest symptoms or ascites. So, one more remedy, Senecio aureus. Its action on female organisms has been verified. The menses are retarded, suppressed, functional amenorrhea of young girls with backache. So, these are the first grade remedies. And one more characteristic feature of the menstrual abnormality is amenorrhea. So, it may be classified as the primary or secondary. When primary amenorrhea, it's a failure of onset of menses beyond the age of 16. Whereas secondary amenorrhea, to be diagnosed with secondary amenorrhea of women must have missed periods for at least 3 months or more than they usually have regular periods in the past. Other than this, it is also diagnosed when a woman having irregular periods but does not get a period around 6 months. Usually it is a dysfunction of hypothalamic, pituitary, ovarian, uterine axis. So commonest causes of secondary amenorrhea includes usually polycystic ovarian syndrome, thyroid dysfunction, oral contraceptive pills, and certain types of IUDs, and some medications, antipsychotics, antidepressants, and some blood pressure controlling medicines, and where extreme weight loss and weight gain, emotional or physical stress, and vigorous exercise, severe illness, poor nutrition. Apart from there is adhesions in uterus, tumors in ovary, pituitary tumors. So these are the commonest causes of secondary amenorrhea. So diagnosis can be made on the basis of proper case taking and by following investigations like serum prolactin level, estrogen level, progesterone challenge test, and serum FSH and LH, and ultrasonography. So homeopathic cold, getting wet just before or during discharge, and from grief, fright, or mental distress. These are the causes, and homeopathic therapeutics for that. And there is anemia, Apis, Calcarea carp, China, Ferrum, Ferrum phos, Helonia, Ignitia, Lilium tick, Phosphorus, Pulse, Sepia, Senecio, Zinc are the remedies. In suppression from the cold, Aconite, Belladonna, Pulse, Causticum, Simsifuga, Gelsemium comes. When suppression from fright or sudden emotions, so again Aconite, Belladonna, Simsifuga, Ignitia, Opium, Platinum, Pulse comes. And delayed first menses, so late menarche, that is Altris, Calcarea, Simsifuga, Graphites, Pulse, Silesia, Sulfur comes. So these are the top remedies I have used in my practice. So Pulsatilla is a top grade medicine for most of the missed periods treated, and Sepia, it is the next leading medicine, and Natramur along with hair loss, Graphites having the tendency of late and scanty menses, and Senecio aureus, Ignitia, Apis, Alternus farinosa. So these are the topmost remedies I have used in my practice. So other abnormalities, premenstrual syndrome. Usually, health of women is highly dependent on menstrual cycle. So PMS is a set of physical, emotional, and usually do not interfere with daily activities. But severe form is associated with severe disruptions in work function, family, or social relationships. So it begins after a woman ovulates and ends with menstruation. The symptoms include irritability, anger, headaches, anxiety, depression, fatigue, fluid retention, breast tenderness, constipation, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, cramps, etc. So the management of this conservatively, the diet restrictions, then stress management, aerobic exercises, then homeopathic remedies for these before menses, diarrhea, these are the Bovista lachesis among natural irritability mind. Aramuram natricum, causticum, Hamamola will be indicated. More pulsatilla, Amen, calcalia, causticum, magnesia, album, and abdominal distension, lachesis, lycopodium, gin, and back with menses, calica, basila, calcaria, causticum, this lachesis, and the before menses constipation, calica, silicea, bronchitis, lachesis will be indicated. Dysmenorrhea is defined as painful menstruation of sufficient magnitude so as to incapacitate day-to-day activities of a woman. So it is divided into two categories based on superimposed of lower abdominal pain and may radiate to the back or thigh, and the symptoms like malaise, fatigue, nausea, symptoms, and increased production of endometrial prostaglandins has been reported in suffering women, which results in increased uterine tone and stronger, more frequent uterine contractions that induces the pain. So this is about the primary dysmenorrhea. Whereas secondary or congestive dysmenorrhea, when pain which is associated with uterine and pelvic pathology. So here I have taken the rubric in Kent-Repertory, female menses, painful dysmenorrhea, the first grade remedies. The Murphy repertory rubric, it is painful menses, and synthesis repertory, these are the remedies. And that, so I have taken few medicines which are used frequently in daily practice for dysmenorrhea with good results. These are only the topmost remedies found through cross-repertorization of this Kent synthesis and Murphy repertory, but other homeopathic medicines can also be used for significant relief. The remedies: top renal emotions, menstrual cramps with a lot of pain and irritability, and xanthoxylum, menses are too early and painful, the neurological dysmenorrhea, neurological headaches, ovarian neuralgia with pain in loins and lower abdomen, and extending down the thigh along the genitocrural nerves, pain in the back and down the legs, and Simsifuga, one more remedy which is great debility between menses and pain across the pelvis from hip to hip. More the flow, more the pain will be there. And Viburnum oculis, one more remedy. Uterine complaints associated with cramps in thighs, extending to cough, which is a keynote of this remedy. Aurum natricum in hard, large myomas in uterus. Then belladonna, frequently used remedy in the dysmenorrhea. Menses bright red, too early, too profuse. Cutting pain from hip to hip, dragging around loins. And calophyllum, this is associated with rheumatic pains and joint pains. And veratrum album, where nausea and vomiting. And medphas, it's a menstrual colic, precedes flow. Menses are too early, dark, stingy, swelling of external parts. Then horrible pain with weeping and crying in persons. Cactus coffea cuprum is indicated. And Cochleus indicus, very good remedy for dysmenorrhea. Menses too early, too clotted with spasmodic colic and painful pressing in the uterine region, followed by hemorrhoids. Very so weak during menstruation, and she is scarcely able to stand. So this is the indication of Cochleus. Menorrhagia. It is a more frequent complaint in the present time because of the changing lifestyle. And it defined as regular cyclical bleeding, that is excess, either in amount or in duration of flow. We call it as menorrhagia. This quantification of menstrual loss is not utilized in clinical practice because women describe the loss or reduction of daily activities as more important than the actual volume of bleeding. So despite rarely being life-threatening, the significant impact of menorrhagia on the personal, social, family and work life of women and thereby reduces their quality of life. So it is largely responsible for iron deficiency anemia, which have negative effects on women's health. So to simplify the diagnosis, the table below enlisted the common causes as per the age group. Divide the puberty age group cause, reproductive age and postmenopausal with this table. And with homeopathic approach for this menorrhagia, so irrespective of the cause, often an acute remedy is called into play during the acute bleeding, and it needs to be followed up with a constitutional remedy once bleeding stops. So to get the acute totality, type of bleeding, presence of pain, modalities, accompanying symptoms has to be considered. So with this, I have prepared one table form to get that acute remedy. So there are here, I have divided that bright red remedies, dark red remedies, and daytime, nighttime remedies, painful, painless remedies, dark clotted, clots with fluid as serum. These are the remedies. So with these remedies, the acute totality we can get, we can treat that acute menorrhagia. These are the remedies useful. When fibroids, then menorrhagia, the remedies were cervical erosion with menorrhagia. After abortion, the menorrhagia, if then nitric acid, Sabrina, Ustilago will be indicated. And after DNC, then nitric acid will be indicated. And because of the polyps, then menorrhagia, then the calcareous, pulsatilla, phosphorus, thuja and medorinum will be indicated. So these are the clinical therapeutics for menorrhagia. And a few remedies also can be studied with their efficacy as per the age group. So these are the remedies that have been verified in practice in the specific age group like puberty, So these Calcarea fast, millefolium, hammermilla, senecio aureus is indicated. Menopausal epocinum, ustilago, vinca minor, these are the remedies. So if we go for a miasmatic approach for a menorrhagia, the phytosoric menorrhagia, when there is only functional changes in coordination in the hypothalamic pituitary ovarian axis, then bleeding usually fluid, bright red in color, then antisoric remedies will be indicated, that is sulfur, sorinum will be indicated. Whereas structural changes causing the menorrhagia, then due to fibroids, polyps, ovarian cysts, tumors, then thyroid disorders, and whereas the bleeding is dark red, clotted, offensive, then antipsychotic remedies like thuja, medorinum will be indicated. Then syphilitic menorrhagia, where that endometriosis, cervical or endometriosis, and then few other teachers can be used in the menorrhagia, like Thalaspi bassa, Capsularis pastoris, Trillium for acute hemorrhages, and Ficus religiosa, Saracta indica, Hydrastis, Senecio aureus, Ustilago. These are the few mother teachers can be used in the menorrhagia. Usually 5 to 10 drops of the mother teacher in half cup of water can be taken. So other menstrual abnormality, it is metrorrhagia, that is intermenstrual bleeding. And so some girls and women suffer from too late or too early periods. So in some, they are regularly irregular and irregularly irregular. So when that regularly irregular periods, these are mostly ovulatory. But in girls who have irregularly irregular for long period of time, to rule out the anovulatory cycles. So homeopathic constitutional medicine set this cycle straight in most cases. So but certain acute remedies like Senecio, Pulsatilla may be helpful in case of late onset of menses. So these scanty menses, where that in innumerable patients, this finding is usually missed. Anemia could be the sole cause of scanty menses. Thus, correcting that anemia with chosen homeopathic medicines is essential. But in women with normal hemoglobin, but scanty menses, one has to rule out that certain problems like polycystic ovarian disease. From genital tract 12 months after the cessation of menses, called that is postmenopausal bleeding, and any vaginal bleeding in a postmenopausal woman should be considered abnormal. So these are associated with malignancies of the reproductive tract. So benign causes for postmenopausal bleeding: endometrial polyps, cervical polyps, trauma, senile vaginitis, vulval dystrophies. So, in these cases, homeopathy in menopause, a constitutional homeopathic treatment is best during the transitional period of menopause in order to balance that hormonal level. Usually, folliculinum in LM potency can be given, so it stimulates the continuing natural production of estrogen by the ovaries and by the other organs, which also make small amounts of estrogen, including the adrenal glands, liver and kidneys. And so diagnostic investigations in menstrual disorders are a thorough history, case taking and physical examination, blood tests like hemogram, thyroid function test, and a hormonal profile is required, and cytological examination like biopsy, histology, and a pelvic ultrasound scan, and endometrial biopsies, hysteroscopy, and dilatation and curetage. These are some diagnostic investigations for that menstrual abnormalities. So here I would like to complete this webinar with a case. A 20-year female patient 1-2 days before start of menses and lasted for 3 to 4 days since last 3 years. And the history of present illness. Her complaint started 3 years after menarche. The complaints are pain in lower abdomen was followed by pain in lower back, nausea followed by vomiting, which aggravated when menses began, and there was feeling of restlessness with numbness of hands, feet, and coldness of whole body after each episode of vomiting. Though she felt hungry, she was afraid to eat during dysmenorrhea on account of this. She could only take small meal. Any larger amount taken at a time lead to vomiting. There was also feeling of fullness and incomplete evacuation of stools during menses. These are the history of presenting illness. Menstrual history, menarche days of 14 years. Her menstrual cycle was 26 to 30 days, and this lead to considerable anxiety to the patient. She could not go out for study at all and spent 3 to 5 days completely lying on bed and disinterested in anything, talking, eating, or doing any work. There was a history of frequent hospital admissions during menses with analgesic injections and intravenous infusion of normal saline will be there. This was the menstrual history. And particularly during menses. And digestion feels weak, full on eating small amounts. Thus, hardly and 1 liter per day. Station of incomplete evacuation investigations. Her hemoglobin was 10 grams and her ultrasonography abdomen report was normal. There is no pathology. So here I have taken the rubrics like mildness and nausea during menses, vomiting during menses, painful matic showing that pulsatilla having that 15 marks and Natramo, Naxa vomica, Calcaria, Calicar that remedies has come. So on the basis of this totality, pulsatilla was indicated and the patient was reassured about the absence of structural gynecological pathology because there is no structural change. She was also advised balanced nourishing iron rich a single symptoms and dehydration. Medicine prescribed is Pulsatilla 30C, 3 doses was prescribed. 1 dose early morning, empty stomach for 3 days, along with placebo 30 for 7 days. So we'll see that follow. I have taken 6 months of the follow. So the first month after giving the medicine, the menses occur on 28th day. Pain at lower abdomen increased when flow began and vomited twice till next morning and only took water, avoided eating, nausea but no vomiting for the next day. And she took liquid diet the next day and constipation. with feeling of unsatisfactory, incomplete evacuation for the first month. Follow-up of second month, menses on 30th day, discomfort at lower abdomen before start of menses and lasted for 5 to 6 hours. Vomiting once till next morning, and she could take water and small amounts of soup for the dinner. And there was nausea but no vomiting for the next day, and the constipation, other symptoms were better. The third month follow, menses on 28th day, there was mild discomfort at lower abdomen before start of menses and lasted within 2 to 3 hours. There was nausea but no vomiting. And constipation and other symptoms were better. On the fourth month follow, the menses on 28th day, there was mild discomfort at lower abdomen before start of menses. There was nausea but no vomiting on the first and second day of menses. And she could take light food. All symptoms were better. Throughout all these follow-ups, only placebo will have given. Fifth month follow, there was mild discomfort at lower abdomen before start of menses. And there was no nausea or vomiting. Patient ate well during menses. All symptoms were better. In the sixth month, there is it. Menses started on time. There was mild discomfort at lower abdomen before start of menses, and there was no nausea or vomiting, and patient ate well during menses. So all symptoms were better. So this is the follow-up of the case, and so this case shows that effectiveness of homeopathic treatment in severe primary dysmenorrhea. So homeopathic medicine prescribed on the basis of totality of symptoms and repertorization, then a positive role in the management of severe primary dysmenorrhea. So this was the case. So the take-home message is, all menstrual abnormalities which may be found functionally or related to some uterine pathology or due to any systemic pathology. In homeopathy, we treat the patient, not the disease. Individual. If we follow these strict homeopathic principles, then we will achieve success in this condition. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ma'am.
Cheers.
Thank you, Dr. Umarani, for sharing this great information and in-depth knowledge of menstrual abnormalities. I know we have very less time, but you did cover so many things with case analysis, remedy selection, and how one can address. Very nicely presented. Thank you so much for all the nice, helpful tips in the form of chart, rare remedies, and rubrics. So we will take some questions. Dr. Uma?
Yeah, madam.
Dr. Sweta, would you like to take
Yes,
from the chat, please?
Yes, sure, ma'am. Dr. Uma, there's one question from Dr. Anuja. How often should we repeat doses in menstrual abnormalities cases?
It depends upon the case. In acute totality or acute menorrhagia, then we can frequently repeat that. So, but constitutional well-selected remedy. So, one dose of this remedy is enough to cure that total case.
I would like to ask the viewers, please write down your queries. Meanwhile, Dr. Uma, it was a fabulous presentation, very nicely presented. And this is all about the questions.
Please give your inputs. Dr. Praveen sir.
Taking Enimo and everything besides Unani
Dr. Praveen to kindly have some few words for Dr. Uma.
Definitely, I am really delighted. I have heard a complete presentation. Quite a lot of things I have seen in a presentation. Really, there are quite a few remedies which I don't use in my clinical practice. Though I claim that I have been practicing for more than 41 years, but there are quite a number of remedies which I don't give for menstrual irregularities. It's a very great eye opener. So we should definitely read them again. I felt like that. It's a very good presentation. Very good, very good. Congratulations, Uma.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Uma, can you kindly share your presentation, because there were a glitch on the time that we're seeing a frame with many medications, and when you went back, you went from then on, and I was taking notes and I wasn't able to complete. So if you kindly share the PDF with Dr. Kavita, if you don't mind, she could share through the Car Family webinars page. It will be very helpful. Congratulations on your work. May God bless your projects. And I'm very fond of Dr. Praveen's research and his amazing interconnection and making it easy to understand such a dreadful illness. Los Oídos. There is an eye-opening, and it is a bless to us here in South America, in Rio de Janeiro. Many blessings to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Regina.